WION World of Sport Extra. Today we're going to be discussing Sri Lanka versus South Africa. The two-match test series has begun today, and Sri Lanka might have an outside chance of making the WTC final. Who would have thought? All that and much more with me, Vidur Kathuria, and my colleagues Shibashish Nandi and Nikhil Mathur. Nikhil, Sri Lanka, World Test champions in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. There are a lot of teams, even South Africa are in contention, and it's not just the Border Gavaskar Trophy that is underway, it's the South African Test summer that has also started. Sri Lanka are touring for a two-test match series. And I think South Africa are in trouble. The current score is 80 for 4. I think the first session got over, 80 for 4.
What about the Brigadier? What's his score?
Temba Bavuma, the skipper, is unbeaten on 28. So, yeah, probably a century on his return might sound well. But Sri Lanka are unbeaten in Durban. They have played 3 test matches there. They have won 2, I think, and they have drawn 1. So that's a great record to have. And both, remember, as Vidur said, both sides are in contention for a World Test Championship. But so interesting test series. And if we see the action that we saw in the Border Gavaskar series, this match is also heading for it's started well, 20 overs, 80 for 4. So definitely there might be a result there.
Well, Shibashish, what have you got over there on your paper? So give us your research.
So basically, how they can qualify, how both teams can qualify for the World Test Championship final. If Sri Lanka win this test series 2-0, their percentage will rise to 63.4. Currently, they are third in the rankings, and they have 55.56. The WTC Championship is being led by India right now. They have 61.11. For India to be assured of a place in the top 2, they need to beat Australia 4-0. So, if they win, they'll get to 63.64. If Sri Lanka wins, they'll get to 63.64. And if South Africa win, their percentage will rise to 63.33. And the most India can get is something between 63 and 64.
Okay.
So, these two are definitely there, and so are India and Australia.
And just to give a reminder to our viewers, Sri Lanka beat New Zealand. They whitewashed them 2-0. New Zealand whitewashed India, and Sri Lanka whitewashed New Zealand. So Sri Lanka beat New Zealand 2-0. And they have another test series coming up after this. They play, in fact, Australia in February in a 2-match series, which again, I mean, you would say Sri Lanka, with the form they are in right now, they will, I won't say favorites, but they will definitely back themselves against Australia to win that series. And of course, and another thing that just came to my mind, Sri Lanka beat, I'm not sure if they have toured South Africa after that, but remember, Sri Lanka have won a test series in South Africa a few years back. In fact, they are the only Asian team to win a test series in South Africa. Remember, South Africa is the only country where India have not won a test series till now. Well, all that and this series we are going to be covering on our show, that is WION World of Sport, 6:30 p.m. IST. But for now, there were lots of sporting action to discuss, so we're going to be moving on from that. And of course, there was the Champions League last night, and another failure, if you can call it that, for Manchester City. Nikhil, what's going on at Manchester City?
I mean, 5 draws and then 5 losses and then 1 draw, and City blowing up a 3-goal lead.
Let's be honest, this is a draw on paper, but it feels like a loss. It's a loss.
Absolutely.
No, and I think it's what's wrong with Manchester City is, I think, more about the mentality and the place that they are in, because I've never seen City blow away a 3-goal lead in 15 minutes. And Feyenoord, I mean, they're a decent club, but it is a big result for them.
Champions League.
And at Etihad Stadium, in fact, like I was just seeing, in fact, the fans, City fans at Etihad, usually it's never filled, but this time it was.
They
don't
like dig there from a Manchester United supporter.
In fact, they don't know what to do. Like when Spurs routed them 4-0, City fans were there. They lauded the team after the match. But this time, what I saw, I mean, there were boos all around the stadium. So in fact, City fans are also now coming to terms. Earlier they thought that it's just a blip, maybe they will bounce back, but now they have also realized that this is not just a blip, but it has, it's a losing streak that is usually not associated with Pep Guardiola. He's never lost 5 matches in a row. So now City fans are also turning against them. And in fact, I saw Guardiola was so frustrated with his team that he scratched his nose.
I
And
don't
in
know
fact, he was bleeding, and he was asked in the post-match press conference what happened, and he said, I scratched it. I wanted to
some
hurt
of the
myself.
things he says, I want to harm myself.
I think that was tongue-in-cheek and probably just joking.
Yeah, but that visual of him, scraping his nose, some blood being visible, also there were red marks on his bald head. That is quite something. But Shibishi, obviously, I mean, this is getting to him now. Like 6 matches without a victory, 5 defeats and a draw. As I said, it feels like a defeat for them. And the next match is against Liverpool. I mean, and at the moment, I don't think they can compete with Liverpool the way they're playing right now.
Well, it's not right to count them out, but it only shows how important Ballon d'Or winner Rodri is.
Yeah, absolutely.
He basically made the entire team tick. Yes, Jeremy Doku is out, Ruben Diaz, even he is out. But still, I mean, when you look at the City squad, they can easily field 3 teams, and all 3 of them can, finish in the top 15 at least. I mean, the first 2 teams can definitely fight for top 5 spots. But then again, I mean, City, do they start as favourites? No, they don't. But also, we have to, keep in mind that Liverpool are playing Real Madrid today.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, they have been fantastic. They are unbeaten in the Champions League. They are top of the Premier League. But you need just one result to derail your entire season.
True.
And a Real Madrid in the Champions League and a Man City in the Premier League, and considering that Slot likes to stick to his playing 11. So yeah, they are. I mean, yes, they start favourite, but then again, you can't count out City.
Probably give Mohamed Salah a rest. He said, I'm more out than in. So
but
probably
Slot did say he's more in than out.
But for the playing 11, not for the season.
He's definitely in for the playing 11, regardless of whether he's staying or not next season. But coming to the match, that is a big match tonight, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. We have almost gotten accustomed to seeing these 2 clubs fight it out in the Champions League. But you have to say, this is Liverpool's best chance in the last, decade or so to beat Real Madrid. And with Vinicius Jr. not being there, I mean, even a draw, you feel like Liverpool should go on and win this, and of course seal their place more or less in the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool have definitely looked really good, and they are slight favourites against Real Madrid, considering the Vinicius is not there, and they've been fluid, and it's not just Salah, other players have also chipped in, they are scoring goals. I mean, and it would be a big boost, and I think if Liverpool go on and beat Real Madrid, I think then they will definitely go and beat Manchester City, who are in a spot of bother. They don't know what is happening. I mean, last match 3-0, they were cruising. My only point is those mistakes happened. Like, usually City won't make those mistakes. Both goals came after Joško Gvardiol was at fault, some poor passes. So something in the dressing room is missing. It's not that the style of play was there. The style of play was there. They were playing well, but they've been conceding goal. And as Shibashi said, Rodri was in there. But you can't concede 2+ goals in 6 consecutive matches. That is not the sign of English champions or the 2023 Champions League winner.
I just feel like the kind of run Liverpool are on right now, and they have, apart from that defeat against Nottingham Forest, their only defeat of the season, they have been more or less, not you would say in their best form, but they have been getting the results.
Yeah.
But I just feel like as a fan, as a Liverpool fan, they would be running that one performance, of an average performance can cost them. And, the entire narrative can change, as Shibashish said, defeat against Real Madrid, and more importantly, defeat against Manchester City in the Premier League. And 2 games can really change the entire face of the season. Yes, they are, 8-point lead in the Premier League, but just one, it becomes 5. It's a long season.
Also, after Real Madrid and Manchester City, Liverpool play Newcastle United and Everton. Even these 2 games can go anywhere. I mean, Everton, they are not.
But I think that's the difference that I've noticed under Arne Slot. In fact, we were watching, I think, Brighton versus Liverpool together. Yeah. I think the first half, Brighton were playing better than Liverpool, and I felt that Brighton will go and win the match. But churning out results, that's what this
Champions team are made of. Yeah, absolutely.
Champions team are made of, and Arne Slot has instilled in them. They may not be playing well, but Mohamed Salah will come up and score a goal. Soboslai will score. So that is the mentality that I think I don't remember across leagues. I think Liverpool has that quality right now that is going on for them, that they are churning out results. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, they are winning matches, they are losing some, but Liverpool has that quality right now that that mentality is 100% spot on right now at the moment.
I think Arne Slot as well, he seems very measured in the way he speaks at press conferences. He's calm, composed, reiterating that this is only the beginning of the season, there's a long way to go, but overall, so far, the start for Liverpool has been almost perfect, and full marks to Arne Slot. Who would have thought that filling Jurgen's Klopp's shoes, he's made it look pretty easy so far. I'm sure it hasn't been, but he's made it look so. And now moving on, another team that we have to speak about is Arsenal.
Yeah,
5-1 victory in the Champions League. Yes, not the best opposition, but they did beat Manchester City.
Because there's no Ruben Amorim there.
Yeah.
Manchester United right now.
Well, even Ruben Amorim just got a draw.
So have Arsenal got their mojo back, would you say, Shibashish?
They certainly, they looked good. I didn't watch the entire game, but I watched around 20, 30 minutes, and they look, Arsenal always look good when they're playing football. And Martinez's goal and Havertz's goal, those two goals basically sealed the draw. And yes, the Goncalo Inacio goal was a brilliant goal, a 46. It was from 46 yard out or something like that.
Yeah.
But then again, Sporting never really had the the mettle in them to challenge Arsenal, because yes, they may not be playing that. They were not playing that well. They did drop points, but Arsenal under Arteta, they have already looked good, and they have been challenging for the Premier League. They have been challenging Manchester City for the past 2 seasons.
But that's the case. They've always been challenging. They don't look like they will win it. If I'm seeing the Premier League form as well, there's loss, draw, and then a win. Very inconsistent. Like Liverpool, we know Manchester City that they will turn it around during December, January. They will go on. They usually go on a run. Liverpool have been consistent. So if you want to challenge for the title, you have to be consistent. And Arteta's side this time hasn't been that great. So I'm not sure. I think the title race at the moment is between Liverpool and Manchester City. And if Liverpool beats City on Sunday, I would go in and say that it's Liverpool's title to lose. 8 points gap. If they beat City, I think 11 points or something.
11 points, but 25 matches left.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. There's no doubt about that. But I think the title race as of now is between Liverpool and City, and Liverpool certainly have taken a huge lead.
What about the Champions League? Are Arsenal contenders for the Champions League?
Again, they need to decide their priorities. If I remember last season correctly, last season they focused their entire energy on the Premier League, and to me they looked like that Champions League and then or the Europa League, whichever they were playing, they weren't very focused on that. So I think they don't have the squad to focus on both. They will prioritize something. So that depends if Arteta prioritizes Champions League or the Premier League.
Another point that we should make to our viewers is that, remember, this Champions League format is different now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
if you do not finish in those top 8, am I right?
Top 8 directly qualify for the round of 16, and clubs from 9th to 24th. 24th.
A two-legged.
Yeah, they play a 2-leg knockout.
So 2 extra matches.
Yeah.
2 extra matches for teams like Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Potentially, you have 2 extra matches in February, when the Premier League title race will get heated, most probably. So those are 2 extra matches at the business end of the season. Again, the fixtures that we keep talking about, it will certainly take a toll on the players. So the Champions League.
That's what they were saying. And that's true.
Yeah.
You said the fixtures are very congested, and we keep on hearing that players want to go on a strike, which in fact is true. Their workload, if you see, the more matches, and then there's the FIFA World Cup also coming up. They also have more matches.
But then again, if I remember it correctly, UEFA president Seferin had said that if you don't play those many matches, your wage bill is going to come down a lot.
Tell that to Pep Guardiola, who's most of the players are injured. Rodri was leading. In fact, that chart that we will boycott the games still looks like a far-fetched bet that they will boycott. But I think the teams with the best squad to cope with injuries, I think they would definitely have an advantage over that. I just remembered what Ruben Amorim said, that we are going to suffer for a longer period of time. United will suffer; they are suffering, and now City are also suffering. So both Manchester clubs are in sort of suffering mode. But Vidur, what do you think? How will City can break it? Do you think it's about their tactics? Like Guardiola was very particular about it when he was asked, do you want to change something tactically? The reporters, he said, why do you want me to change? I won 6 Premier League titles, 7 Premier League titles. So do you think he needs to do some tactical change, or is it all in the head of the players, or they are not in the right space at the moment?
I think they just, at the moment, I think it might be a case of motivation, of tired legs. As we mentioned, the players have been going at it. This group has been absolutely fantastic. They have won titles, and let's not take away that for the last 5 seasons, even more than that, Manchester City have been by far the best team in England, and of course they were European champions in 2023. Ultimately, like we saw with Liverpool as well, teams drop off. It happens. As Guardiola keeps saying himself, he wants this, he is motivated by this. But at the moment, I don't think it's about tactics. I think they are just not performing at the level that they are used to. I mean, as you said, Feyenoord, they're a Dutch side. With all due respect, they're not, one of the big boys in Europe. Yeah. And surrendering a 3-goal lead
in 15 minutes at home.
At 15 minutes against such an opposition is almost unheard of for a Pep Guardiola team. So it's just not clicking. And I think that's the danger for, other teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, because I think that this team, because they are in eventually I think they will click. But again, such has been their form. It's been so poor that another couple of draws, another couple of defeats will completely put them out of the race in the Premier League as well as the Champions League.
Exactly.
What position are they right now in the Champions League?
No, and these are not the matches that they should have lost. I mean, if it was Liverpool or let's say Real Madrid, you might expect a draw or a loss. You would take it, but okay, Spurs are their bogey team now. I think they consistently beat them whenever they're playing.
Since we're talking about Manchester City, if we look at their next few fixtures before the January transfer market window, when they can actually go out and spend 200-300 million on players, and then they are back. So Liverpool are their next fixture. Then they play Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Juventus in the Champions League. Oh, there's a Manchester derby on 15th of December.
Small matter to the Manchester derby.
And after that, it's Aston Villa, Everton, Leicester, and then January. I mean,
this reminds me, I was looking at one of the memes. It said, Eric Ten Hag's soul has gotten into the next bald man it could find in Manchester. So that was Pep Guardiola. That was quite a funny meme.
Ten Hag's is curse. I mean, like...
Okay, I think we have covered most of what we wanted to. Anything else that is notable on our bulletin at 6:30 p.m. India today?
I mean, it's mostly dominated by
Champions League.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course we will be covering. Ben Stokes has said that he will not be playing. He has not entered. He will not play the IPL because he wants to prolong his England career. Of course, this is another case of game management. Stokes anyway has said that there are a lot of games. Another matter of fixture congestion, not in football but in cricket. So all that and much more on WION World of Sport at 6:30 p.m. IST. See you there today.